The Hauppauge Industrial Park is the largest in the Northeast, second only behind Silicon Valley. So our organization started in 1978. 3-day power outage in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. As you can imagine, nobody could do business, so several business owners, including Jack Kolka, came and said, gee, we really have to fight for this, and we really have to get the lights back on, obviously. So we have always been an advocate for the Hauppauge Industrial Park. You know, we got the first child care center in the industrial park, the first Cope car through Suffolk County Police Department. We advocated for the exit off of Northern State, so we've always done things like that, and now we have stepped it up tenfold, so we're very excited about it. We spearheaded the economic impact study because our board chair, Joe Campolo, came to us and said, let's use Stony Brook University as a template and really look at it and say to ourselves, Stony Brook needed funding, Stony Brook wanted to look at what its impact was, and it really was able to do that. Can we create that type of playbook for the Hauppauge Industrial Park? The timing is absolutely perfect. I have to give kudos to the supervisor because the leadership is, you know, I know he says it, but they mean is open for business. So this could not be better timing to do this as a partnership. Also, we know that by 2025, I mean, 75% of the kids on Long Island, they will be millennials. That will be the workforce. So we need to continue to be open for business. And, you know, we have a lot of intellectual capital on Long Island. When you look at Stony Brook and Cold Spring Harbor and many of the laboratories, so timing could not be better for this.
Our administration from day one realized how important the Hauppauge Industrial Park is to the sustainability of Smithtown itself. Terry has alluded to many of those, the amount of businesses, the amount of tax rateables that come in, 55,000 jobs. It's between Stony Brook, Cold Spring Harbor, it's 45 miles from Manhattan. So there's a great opportunity for us to partner, and we went full steam ahead to make sure that that happened in this administration. So our part on it is we're working now on some infrastructure improvements. As Terry said, the look of the park, coming in and out of the park, very, very important. The aesthetics of it to draw these businesses in that we want to attract. So this year, shortly I will be speaking to Terry about appearing before her executive board. We have a $500,000 plus intersection upgrade in the plans. We're going to be presenting that. We put that money in the capital budget, and it's going to be a very nice project. It's going to be road widening, traffic signaling upgrades, and even though it's infrastructure work, these are all things that will aesthetically make that park very pleasing to business people when they come in to look at it. So we are very, very excited in Smithtown, and again, we realize the importance to the town that the Hauppauge Industrial Park brings, and we should be partnering with them as we move forward. We just received, as many people may have read, a AAA bond rating from Moody's. That's huge to have a AAA bond rating for borrowing purposes at low interest rates. It's the highest bond rating that you can attain. And in the analysis, they mentioned the Hauppauge Industrial Park as part and parcel of why they feel that we deserve a AAA bond rating, specifically for commercial development and the fact that we are engaging with the Hauppauge Industrial Park as a partner. So it's very, very important. In 2018, we have approved under construction 740,000 square feet of commercial development right in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. So we've streamlined our procedures through our planning department, and certainly working with Terry has been a pleasure. We can just call each other on the phone at any time. It's a great relationship, specifically to accomplish great things.
So we've always had a good relationship with the town of Smithtown. I mean, the highway guys are great. Everybody was wonderful. Here's what I think the remarkable difference is. You know, the ongoing joke, quite frankly, was when we called, we would always get a no. We never get a no, we always get a yes. And Ed in particular is always available by phone. And, you know, again, I go back to a lot of politicians can talk about being open for business. They're truly open for business. So I go back to the timing could not be more perfect for this for a lot of different reasons. You know, when we began with this economic impact study, we began with Stony Brook University because we saw also a partnership with the students. And they did several things. They looked at The industrial park, as it relates to industrial parks on Long Island, so both Calverton and Melville. So Melville has about 140 companies right now, Calverton about 100. We have over 1,300 businesses. There's about 879 buildings, standalone brick and mortar buildings in the industrial park with over 55,000 employees. I mean, that is a wow. So this is a major opportunity for us.
The height requirements are going to bring more high-tech businesses to the park. What we have done to set this up is we've gone to 62 feet in height as opposed to 35 feet in height in our zoning categories, and that's along Motor Parkway as a beginning. We are now looking with our planning experts about going deeper into the industrial park to also change height requirements, because we believe that new buildings today, and as Terry said, the millenniums that are coming to work from Stony Brook and Cold Spring Harbor and young people who are going to be professionals seem to require a different type of workplace.
They also said the ability to be able to create a sense of community was really, really, really important. What we found from the study is that many of the buildings right next to each other don't even know who their neighbor is, and by the way, could be doing business together. So we're doing a lot of things that will get the supervisor involved in a sense of community. We'll have the first Hauppauge Industrial Park picnic in the summertime. We're going to be doing movie nights, things like that. They also talked about partnerships. So partnerships with educational institutions, and they said it would make a lot of sense for us to do two things. One is have a center of innovation inside the industrial park, where people could come, just like they have in Buffalo, where people can come and really get training and things like that, and then have another workforce training center there. So we're talking to the educational institutions right now.
I know in working with Terry, the Stony Brook analysis, one of the recommendations were that they might want to change the name of the Hauppauge Industrial Park. And we're looking at that, and we have some plans once we, the town, get word on exactly what the name is going to be officially. We're going to do work with Terry and the HI on doing some re-signing of the facility, et cetera. So that's the case, and that's why we intend to continue to work through our planning people to make these advances.
It's one of the reasons why it's so important to rebrand the park is because right now it's named the Hauppauge Industrial Park, and that really does not fairly depict who's in there. I mean, just all of Long Island has a lot of wonderful nonprofits. I mean, wonderful nonprofits. I can tell you that our HIALI membership makes up probably about 25% of nonprofits, but in the park. So we also run, by the way, the largest food drive with Long Island Cares. In the park, there are food banks, there is cancer associations, they are just doing some magnificent things to help Long Island and help the welfare of Long Island. So you're right, it's not only an industrial area, there's a lot of different types of companies in there.
We're also working with our planning people already on the possibility of changing zones within the industrial park for a residential component. We agree that we think that's vital to young professionals that want to come in. As Terry said, you know, they want walkability, they want public transportation. They're a lot different than in my generation when we started. They're not looking for a half-acre, single-family home right away when they get out of school. So the residential component we feel is very, very important, and we're working on that now as far as the zone change would go to do that.
Part of this economic study and the opportunity analysis, one of the things that's come out is how do we really create what's called an eco-industrial park, So we have about 20 million square feet of flat roofs, for example. So we're smack in the middle of a solar project, looking at our solar members and really helping them do some things that might even create energy to go to Heartland. I mean, that's how big the project looks. That's number one. Number two, they said you need to create a 21st century, and that's what we've been talking about, industrial park. Not only aesthetically what it looks like, but apartments, and again, what I said before, which is workforce training. So we're working with the Long Island Builders Institute, and obviously we'll work with the town of Smithtown to really make that happen. I mean, kids today, as you know, they want that walkable cool factor. And by the way, the industrial park really can do that, right? So some great things down the pike, some great things down the pike.
We have done in the past some infrastructure work, basically road reconstruction that went in conjunction with the sewer expansion that the county did in the industrial park. So we've done that in the past. What we intend to do is continue to budget each year in the capital budget for improvements such as Terry was talking about for aesthetic purposes. So this project is a widening of the road on Adams coming in off New Highway. It's one of the main entrance and exits to the industrial park. It's going to be road widening. We're taking the old wooden poles down. They're going to be masked with the new signaling upgrades on them, traffic signaling. The road's going to be widened. It includes sidewalks for walkability, etc. So it's a pretty nice project.
And the research that Stony Brook did, one of the things they said absolutely was not only the walkability piece, but you know, these kids want a sense of belonging, right? They want to be involved. As a matter of fact, what they talk about today is when you interview millennials, what they'll say is that one of their first questions will be, how does your company give back to either the Long Island community or my community? Because they really love volunteerism. They love so that sense of community is really important. And again, I can't stress enough that, you know, when the planners first got involved with this Hauppauge Industrial Park project, I drove around with them, and one of the things they said was, wow, they've done a lot of projects in other areas, and there's such greenery, and it's truly a park. It truly looks like a park. Even now, it truly looks like a park. So that with some minor upgrades, there's an opportunity just to attract younger people. And you know, on the side, we're doing a lot of projects that bring the educational institutions together with the businesses. One of the biggest concerns that our businesses in the Hauppauge Industrial Park tell us, because we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies, a lot of manufacturing companies, certainly construction and financial service type companies, but professional service is their ability to find a talent pool is critical. So again, couldn't be better timing. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm really excited about this project. I think what it sparked, and again, I'm going to go back to the industrial park, is we're already beginning to talk about putting a group together of people who can really welcome people from other areas and can really, so it would be the HIALI, the town of Smithtown, the town of Islip, the Suffolk IDAs, you know, so that, you know, when you go into places like Florida is probably a good example, not necessarily only for business, but when you walk into that airport, there is no question where you are, right? You're in Disneyland, there is no question. When you go to the Carolinas, I mean, they have welcome wagons that come out. I'm showing my age when I use the word welcome wagon, but you know what I mean. So, you know, that I think will help us spur in this area something like that, number one. Number two, even the talk of this type of business that we're doing in the park right now is, I'm having people call me and say, can we get into the park? So it's happening organically, actually, and we're not even at the tip of the iceberg yet. So wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to get a LinkedIn or a Google or a, you know, at least one of their offices there? Don't you think?
I absolutely agree. We are, you know, it's very pleasing to hear, as a community, every place that we go, the community seems to be re-energized. They're seeing something different altogether from in the past, and this spills over right into this Hauppauge Industrial Park. So many people speak about, for example, the legislative breakfast that Terry holds where we speak. I get a multitude of phone calls back in my office for the next week after that, all about people wanting to come in and talk to me, pick our brain about what we're going to do in the future in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. So yeah, as a partnership, we've really stirred up some real interest in what's going on, and I think it's going to continue. At least I'm going to put all my efforts into making that happen. The analysis, Stony Brook analysis, I've attended all of them with Councilman Lohman, who's the liaison for the Hauppauge Industrial Park. Amazing analysis. What came out of that, as Terry said, with all the greenery that exists already, where people could walk through a park setting to go from one business to the next, it's just really amazing. And it's not something that's going to cost millions and millions of dollars to do. If we do our part on the town's level, in capital budgets to each year, fund X amount of dollars to do things, we can be remarkably successful.
You know, I've had the pleasure over the last 30 years of working in the industrial park. Also grew up in Hauppauge, so I was very familiar with at least what it looked like. You know, I used to ride my bike around there years and years ago. And I remember when I first began working in the industrial park, thinking as I was driving around, I was in sales at the time, thinking to myself, wow, there's gold here. Not really understanding and realizing really what gold there is. So what this economic impact study has told us is not only over 1,300 companies and 55,000 employees, $3 billion in payroll alone, about $14 billion in sales volume alone. So that industrial park gives back to the town of Smithtown $19.6 million in total tax assessed value. I mean, it is a major economic engine.
Long Island as a whole is a very expensive place to live. Smithtown is part of that. So sure, these young people that come out, professionals, they need high-paying jobs, and the Hauppauge Industrial Park is a place where they have those opportunities. Look, when we sat down and had our analysis the first year in office, we coined the Hauppauge Industrial Park as a hidden jewel of Smithtown. You really didn't hear a lot about it over the past number of years. But again, it's talked about all the time now, and I think people are starting to wake up to exactly how important it is, as Terry alluded to. $19 million in tax ratables coming into this town. So for us, it was an easy lift. We said from the get-go, we're going to invest in that as a partner, continue to do that, and I just see great things happening in the future for the park and for Smithtown as a whole.
I know that we'll work together for many years. You know, my goal before I retire is to be able to have my son stay on Long Island, right? And that's a very big piece of this. I live in Smithtown. I voted bad, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's important. That's important that we understand how important this relationship is, number one. Number two is, I think, you know, a 5-year, 7-year view of the industrial park is exactly what we've been talking about. You know, walking trails, people jog daily in the park. The ability for people to live and to work there and to walk to work or to bus to work, very close to work, is something, and a very vibrant area that is just moving and moving and moving and moving. So I think we're on our way. I really think we're on our way.
I see great things for the park going into the future. Again, I go back to the analysis. If you attended those analysis sessions from Stony Brook, the remarkable things that they have come up with, and I believe, I've been in government for over 45 years, there are things that are all achievable, which is good. It's not just a vision that will never occur. These are things that can actually happen, and that's why this partnership is so important. Important to the Hauppauge Industrial Park, and it's also important to residents actually all over Suffolk County and Long Island, to be frank with you. So we're going to continue to do that. This partnership is wonderful. We will continue to work together on all these improvements, and I see great things for the park into the future.
One of the things we've done on our website as a result is we have a whole section about the Hauppauge Industrial Park, so they can just go to www.hia-li.org, and there's a whole section on not only the Hauppauge Industrial Park and some of the work we've done, but what it looks like. I mean, the map is up there, as well as all these studies will be put up there. So that's rich. I mean, I have to tell you, if you want the history, I have to say the town of Smithtown has a lot more history than I thought about the industrial park as well, and the Smithtown Historical Society. So there's a lot of organizations together that really can help people map together what the park looks like.
I'm Supervisor Ed Wareheim.
I'm Terry Lisi Maselli, the President and CEO of the HIA-LI, and thank you for watching.